In this video, traders are going to look at intraday clues that a potential multi-day breakout is about to occur. Stay tuned. Hey guys, a very warm welcome to you. All right, so what clues can we take from intraday trading behavior that we can actually extrapolate out into our swing trading and give us a bit of a thesis that potentially we've got a multi-day breakout about to occur? Now, this video is sponsored by Core Spreads Australia. There's a link to them in the description below. Go and check them out. Go and see what markets they kind of offer. Go and see what spreads they offer. Go and see the platform. Go and check it out and go and see if it's right for you. Okay, so what is this all about? So we often have, guys, intraday clues which will give us a little bit of a hint that potentially a multi-day breakout is about to occur. So what does that mean? It means that for swing traders, maybe it pays dividends to look at the intraday trade to see exactly what's happened, see exactly how the market is traded. We'll look at those in a second. Also for intraday traders as well, we can start to say, okay, well, maybe now I need to position for this. Maybe at least be looking for the trend day, the buy at the open, close at the close kind of trade. It only comes along every now and then, but it's good when it does. So we're looking at time to see what's going on. Again, this is more of an understanding of what's happening under the bonnet, a little bit like a price action type read, a little bit of kind of looking and seeing, a bit of gaming theory about, okay, what's happening and what's really wanting to go on, as opposed to just looking at the chart and going, oh, okay, you know, we're sitting in a range. So if you can imagine this, right, we've got this scenario here, the market's sitting in this range, okay, and sometimes it's gapping up on news a little bit, maybe it's gapping down a little bit on news, whatever the case may be. So we kind of get a little bit of movement, we're not doing much. So what indicates now that we could have a breakout, apart from obviously me drawing in the two breakout candles? These three candles here become quite interesting. And yes, admittedly, I've drawn these on, I'm maybe exaggerating them slightly just for illustration purposes, but hopefully you get the point. So what we've got here is this. We have a scenario where intraday we are closing at highs. Now, very often, if we get a market that closes at highs, even if we're getting gaps down in this scenario here, which is kind of a news-based market, actually, when I'm doing this video, we're getting quite a lot of this, which is kind of the inspiration for doing this, but it happens regularly as well, that we have an underlying demand in there. Now, we do obviously have some supply that's causing a gap overnight, but there's underlying demand. And if we're getting multiple days where we're closing at the highs, in other words, the intraday trade could look something like this. You know, we've opened up kind of down here, maybe we've done some trade here in the morning, in the afternoon, we've kind of had a rally. If we've had a late afternoon move that's closes in the top 10% of the day, that's bullish, regardless of what's happened prior. Now, it's not super bullish yet. We're not kind of, oh yeah, we're all aboard it, but it's a clue. If we're going low to high, in other words, in the morning, we're going high to low. So imagine this is the morning session. There's your AM, there's your PM. Right, imagine the morning you're going high to low, fine, that's the morning, but then in the afternoon before the bell, and this is obviously specifically for indices here, it could be for stocks, could be anything that's got a specific closing time, in the afternoon before the bell, we're going low to high. So in other words, we're seeing institutional money coming in later on in the day, potentially institutional money, we're guessing a little bit there, but it's coming later on in the day and it's closing at highs. And the only thing really that potentially is stopping this from going higher is just the fact that the bell's closed and you can't have regular trading hours on the underlying constituents of the index. So next day we gap down again, similar thing happens. Maybe we get a move to the downside, like a sort of wick to the downside or a tail, in which causes like this kind of move where you're opening here and pushing down and pushing up. But the importance is where it's closing, which is number one. And number two, what is the afternoon trend? So if you split the day into two, rather than most people look at the whole day, and there's nothing wrong with that. Of course, we're always going to look at the whole day. But if we split it into two or even three, AM, midday, PM, or lunchtime chop, whatever you want to call it, and then PM, what's happening? And if we're often getting a late day rally, that tends to, not always, of course, we're just generalizing here, guys, we can't be exact, and trading is all about managing the risk so that we don't take a hit if we're wrong. If we're often getting that, especially if we're getting 3 days in a row, a close at highs, an afternoon rally, it doesn't have to be excessive, doesn't have to be like ripping to highs. And again, this could also be even red candle. So in other words, we are actually down, but we've had an afternoon rally. Now we perhaps haven't quite closed right at highs, but we've had a good afternoon rally off lows. That's still okay. It's not as bullish obviously as a close at highs of the day, but if it's off the lows and it's had a late afternoon rally, that's still okay. So we start to look at patterns, and if we're getting 2 or 3 of those, or 3 really in a row, these are clues that, hey, if the afternoon rally's here, the only thing that's stopping this thing from actually pushing on is the reprice for news overnight. So if you're trading US, some sort of European or Asian news is affecting this and causing it to gap lower slightly, and we're still in this range. So you start to think, well, okay, well, yes, we're opening, but there's not really much trade happening in the gap. It's just a general consensus of where it could be. And those participants might be different participants from those people who are buying it at lows. So we look at this, we go, where does it close? Top 10%, that's a bullish indication. How does it trade in the last two hours or so? 3 hours, maybe 2 hours. How's it trade? Low to high, that's a bullish indication. If we get that, then we can start to potentially lean on our thesis being, hey, well, actually, if we do start to go out the range, or if we don't necessarily gap lower on news, or we don't kind of have these news gaps, and maybe we gap a little bit higher, then buyers may well step in earlier than later. So swing traders, we may be positioned for a 2 or 3 day move. For day traders, we start to position, rather than wait for the afternoon rally, we go, right, we're changing sentiment here. Looks like supply's all overdone. We're fully about demand now. Let's look to buy at the open for a good, rare, but nice open to high trend type day. Or maybe in the first kind of hour, little flick to the downside, look for a kind of double bottom, trade off that, use that as a level to manage the risk from, look for a push, holding for that kind of midday counter trend move we get, but for the ultimate push to close at highs. So that's something to look at, guys. Intraday clues that a multi-day trend is about to occur. Of course, just flip on its head if you're looking at the bear side, but very often swing traders don't look at intraday stuff. You're looking at the daily candles, and that's fine. You don't want to get caught in noise, but sometimes you're missing some clues. Handy for day traders, handy for swing traders. Like I say, guys, this video is sponsored by Core Spreads Australia. There's a link to them in the description below. Go and check them out. Appreciate your subscription if you are subscribed to the channel. If you're not, consider doing so for more videos like this from me and others. Take care. Bye-bye.